Is looping through a generator in a loop over that same generator safe in Python? From what I understand, a for x in a underscore generator column foo x loop in Python is roughly equivalent to this. That suggests that something like this would do two things. Not raise any exceptions, segfault, or anything like that. Iterate over y until it reaches some x where should underscore inner underscore loop x returns truthy, then loop over it in the inner for until stop underscore inner underscore loop thing returns true. Then, the outer loop resumes where the inner one left off. From my admittedly not very good tests, it seems to perform as above. However, I couldn't find anything in the spec guaranteeing that this behavior is constant across interpreters. Is there anywhere that says or implies that I can be sure it will always be like this? Can it cause errors or perform in some other way? I.e. do something other than what's described above? NB the code equivalent above is taken from my own experience. I don't know if it's actually accurate. That's why I'm asking.
TL, Doctor, it is safe with Python, but I could not find any specification of this, although it may not do what you want to do. First, let's talk about your first assumption, the equivalence. A for loop actually calls first iter on the object, then runs next on its result, until it gets a stop iteration. Here is the relevant bytecode, a low-level form of Python, used by the interpreter itself. Get underscore iter calls iter y, which itself calls y dot underscore iter underscore, and pushes its result on the stack. Think of it as a bunch of local unnamed variables, then enters the loop at for underscore iter, which calls next, iterator, which itself calls, iterator, dot underscore next underscore, then executes the code inside the loop, and the jump underscore absolute makes the execution comes back to for underscore iter. Now, for the safety. Here are the methods of a generator. This URL, as you can see at line 617, the implementation of underscore iter underscore, is pyobject underscore selfiter, whose implementation you can find here. Pyobject underscore selfiter simply returns the object, the generator, itself. So, when you nest the two loops, both iterate on the same iterator. And, as you said, they are just calling next on it, so it's safe. But be cautious, the inner loop will consume items that will not be consumed by the outer loop. Even if that is what you want to do, it may not be very readable. If that is not what you want to do, consider itertools.t, which buffers the output of an iterator, allowing you to iterate over its output twice, or more. This is only efficient if the t iterators stay close to each other in the output stream. If one t iterator will be fully exhausted before the other is used, it's better to just call list on the iterator to materialize a list out of it. No, it's not safe, as in, we won't get the outcome that we might have expected. Consider this. Of course, we will get 0 to 19 printed. Now let's add a bit of code. The only thing that will be printed is 0. By the time that we get to the second iteration of the outer loop, the generator will already be exhausted by the inner loop. We can also do this. If it was safe, we would expect to get 0 to 19 printed 20 times, but we actually get it printed only once, for the same reason I mentioned above.
It's not really an answer to your question, but I would recommend not doing this because the code isn't readable. It took me a while to see that you were using Y twice, even though that's the entire point of your question. Don't make a future reader get confused by this. When I see a nested loop, I'm not expecting what you've done and my brain has trouble seeing it. I would do it like this.